Are you tired of living with pain? Whether it's physical or emotional, you feel like it's holding you back from living your life the way you want to live it and being happy. Did you know that how we experience pain very often depends on our daily routine and our approach to it? In this video, I'm speaking to Nicola Filzmoser, a founder of Happier Health, a company committed to improve the outcomes of chronic pain in children and young people. Watch the video and find out what can you do to improve your experience with pain. Welcome to Virtually Unbreakable, where we inspire you to live happier and more fulfilling lives. My name is Ella and I'm your host. Today, my guest is Nicola Filzmoser. Nicola is a social entrepreneur and a product expert with passion for using technology to make positive impact on people's lives. She is a founder of Happier Health, where she is committed to providing digital chronic pain management for children and young people. Today, together with Nicola, we will be talking about business and mental health. I'm pleased to have you here with me, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Nicola, so nice to see you here. How are you doing today?
Hi, Ella. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much for finding time for this. So Nicola, you have a super inspiring profile and a very, very interesting career, at least to those of us who are interested in well-being and improving the quality of our lives. Can you tell me, I understand that Happier Health is your own business, you're the founder. What has inspired you to start this business?
Yes, so Happier Health is very much based on my own story. So I've been living with chronic pain myself, and I've lived through the challenges since I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
So it really always was part of my life. And when I got together with my co-founder, we looked at elements that can help, elements from research especially, that we cannot find yet in actual clinical care. And we saw that there's a big gap in how young people, adolescents with chronic pain are currently treated, because there's a huge gap in, or a lack in delivering also mental health support,
That's
coping
right.
support for people with chronic pain, because it's not just a physical issue. So this is really something also that
you lived through. Wow.
That I lived through, exactly. And speaking with more people who lived through it, finding that there is really still a challenge in the market.
Right. Okay. And I understand that your company focuses on providing a digital chronic pain management tools to, especially to children and young people. Why did you choose to focus on this group?
A lot of people with chronic pain develop their chronic pain in the early ages. A specific group we're looking at the moment are people with migraine. And the majority of people with migraines start to get their migraines, start to get symptoms when they are children.
Right.
The problem is that it's very hard to diagnose at this age. And also it's usually treated just with painkillers. So you get some ibuprofen, you get paracetamol, which is not the right approach. The right approach would be to provide them with a multidisciplinary approach right away, to giving them some medication for acute pain for sure, but also helping them to cope with the psychological and the social effects of living with chronic pain. So we want to set in at a point where we can help them the most so they don't develop into adults with chronic pain.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. That's a good reason, isn't it? And did you find that, so I assume you've done a lot of research around the fact that digital tools really work with regards to the chronic pain, and also are a good way to engage with young audience. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Exactly. So there is a lot of research already available on techniques, mainly from psychology, techniques that are currently used for example, anxiety, depression, that have shown great effects in helping people to deal with chronic pain and even helping them to deal with their physical symptoms, although kind of they're not directly addressing the physical symptoms like a pill would do.
Yeah.
And we're using that research, also working with experts in the field, so working with
Mm-hmm.
psychologists, neurologists, all kinds of experts in the chronic pain area, to make sure that we deliver those elements in digital tools. And yes, as you said, there's a lot of engagement. There is easy accessibility to digital
Mm.
tools rather than having to find, for example, a specialist clinic.
And makes it much cheaper, more affordable,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And easier accessible. So
Exactly.
how does Happier Health work? Is it an app that people can access?
So at the moment we have 3 different products. We have an app, yes, and the app provides techniques that help young people to learn how to deal with chronic pain. So those are also, for example, relaxation techniques. Those are also elements from positive psychology, so
Yeah.
learning to deal with emotions and to kind of change your mindset towards your day-to-day life, even if you have chronic pain.
Yeah.
And the app is available. It's called Tamer. So if anyone wants to look at it, it's called Tamer on the app stores. At the same time, we have a book for the slightly younger audience, so children, that helps them to understand their condition. So this is specifically about migraine. We use a lot of storytelling in this to help them also, because understanding and education is one huge element of helping
Aspect,
people
yeah.
to cope
100%.
with their pain. And the third element, or a third product we have, is a course. It's an online course for parents of children with migraine. Because same here, education, understanding of what their children are going through, and also knowledge about the techniques that are helpful and that they can try to deal with the situation as a family is an essential aspect.
What a fantastic selection of different resources, all to do with improving quality of lives, really, of people
Exactly.
who are, you could say, real victims of pain. Yet taking the victim attitude is probably the last thing you want to do when you're in that situation. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. So you've mentioned before that the company was born because you felt inspired from your own journey and from your own experience with chronic pain. Can you tell me a little bit more? It must have been an exciting journey starting this business and very empowering one. How did it go from the start? Did you feel like you found your true purpose, and do you feel really fulfilled now as a company owner, company that is helping thousands of people across the world with chronic pain management?
Sure, like it resonates what you're saying. I mean, it's for sure a difficult journey. Anyone who starts their own business will understand that there are ups and
Yeah.
downs. But I think just the fact that as soon as as I speak to patients, to people who are using our resources, and they come back with a smile, with their stories, how it helped, and this is incredibly fulfilling. And this is what I'm doing this for as well, seeing the positive impact that it can have on people.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I understand you're someone who is not immune to poor mental health yourself, or we can all be, when we neglect our needs, our mental health suffers. And it's really important to stay resilient and strong, right? Especially when running a business. What were the key lessons you have learned about your own emotional resilience along this journey?
I think one core element is learning to say no. There's so many opportunities, so many things you can do, things you can apply for as a company that help you kind of get more funding or whatever, trying different projects as well, working with different institutions, but you're a small company and we're still a small company. So
Yeah.
you always want to help everybody, but if you don't help yourself, you can't. So the core element for me is kind of balancing that out. You trying to help others, but also being aware that you are part of this group you're trying to help, you as an individual. So I think that is often forgotten, that, okay, I do everything else for everyone else, but I forget about myself. And this is core. So sometimes, yes, you have to say no. And it's hard because there might be an opportunity, but in the end, if you don't kind of manage your time, your emotional, your mental resources, at some point you run out of them.
and you need to, as I say, recharge your batteries, right? Because
Exactly.
you know, if you're trying to positively influence lives of so many people by creating these amazing tools and this amazing content, you must not forget that you need to walk the talk, right? And be the example of how to take care. Well, maybe example is a bit ambitious, but give a good example to how to look after our mental well-being, and our
Exactly. And this
resilience.
is also for me an element of authenticity. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I don't do what I'm trying to tell people to do, kind of to help them with their chronic pain, with migraine, if I'm just telling them, okay, do regular meditation, and I don't
Yeah,
do it myself, at some point
yeah,
I will lose my belief that it works.
yeah.
But from all the strategies, from all the resources we created at Happier, I
Mm-hmm.
learned so much. It was a
Mm.
journey for me as well,
Yeah,
a
I
health
bet.
journey too, in the
Yeah,
mental health aspect, but also physical health. So
yeah,
for me, it was kind of a treatment to found this
yeah,
company for my
yeah,
own migraine, because I did
yeah,
all the research, I got all the education about it,
exactly.
and I know exactly what works, and I'm testing it on a daily basis to see, kind of to keep
Mm.
this habit.
What are some of the most amazing success stories that you've heard from your users, from your customers? Some feedback.
I think the most important one for me is really when we get feedback that they change their perspective on the pain. This is one
Mm-hmm.
core element we're looking at, especially also in the book for children, which uses a metaphor to help people not fear the pain, but more work together with it.
Yeah.
So we use the metaphor of a dragon as your migraine, and you learn to work with your dragon together instead of fighting it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that for me, because that's a key element I've seen in my
Yeah.
own journey, that as soon as you change the perspective, everything changes. And
Mm.
as soon as you kind of have a different relationship with your pain, the
Yeah,
treatment in all aspects changes. So this is for
that's
me
right.
the core
Yeah.
success, hearing about that.
Yeah. And do you believe that pain is something we can influence, the intensity of it and the length of it, with our positive thinking?
Yes, I strongly believe that. There is for
Mhm.
sure the physical aspect, but also we know in a lot of research already that based on our perspective, based on how we react to the pain, we also influence how we experience physical pain. So I'm not
Mm.
saying kind of it's just made up in your head. That's for sure not true. There
Yeah.
is physical
Yeah.
pain. People experience physical pain.
Yeah.
But the way we look at it, and if we approach it in a positive way, in a curious way even, and
Yeah.
being open to learning from it, what is it
Yeah.
trying to tell me? Especially in
Exactly.
chronic pain or in migraine, we see
Yeah.
it often is, what is it trying to tell me? Ah, you're stressed. Ah, you didn't
Mm.
drink enough water.
Yeah.
Not saying that drinking enough water and not
Yes.
having
Yes.
stress solves
It's
everything,
always
but
the
it's a part
reason.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. It's always a
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
So I think going towards it with an attitude of listening and trying to learn from it is
Mm.
really helpful.
I find that as a mom, I want to share my insight on this. So I feel like some schools are already doing more. I'm lucky that my son's school does that with regards to mental health education and understanding their children's own emotions. But there's so much more we can do collectively as a society, and you know, as a place where we raise young generations, whether we are parents or non-parents, in terms of that education about emotions and being in touch with your own feelings and being in touch with your own voice and learning about resilience and how to become more resilient. That is such a wealth of knowledge that I feel like many young people are missing these days.
Yes.
Not because their parents don't want to give them that knowledge or share that knowledge, but perhaps parents are also super busy and you know, focused on making money and paying the bills, and sometimes it's just some parents don't have that knowledge. So really making
Exactly, yeah.
making
I
those
totally agree with you.
making those tools accessible, this content that you create, that I create as well, and about mental health, accessible and affordable, or even free of charge at times, is such a crucial thing, because what we are doing is we are helping young generations thrive, as simple as that. And they are not given those tools at school, full stop. They do not learn how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with big emotions, how to process them, how to cope with pain in their home and school environments. You could question whether it's something that should be included in the school curriculum, but that's a different conversation. I think, do you agree with my point?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think in all aspects, be it in the educational sector, be it in the health sector as well, mental health is starting to pick up, but it's not at the state of,
At the rate,
let's say, in the medical space, kind of the comparison is pharmaceutical approaches. It's not as important. In the educational space, mathematics is more important than mental health. So I'm very happy kind of to see it pick up, to see people understanding how important it is, to see people valuing their own mental health, the general well-being, and not just, I feel I have a symptom now, so I go to the doctor, but thinking about it before, like, how can I keep myself healthy? How can I stay healthy in the long term? So it's picking up, but as you say, it's for sure not where it should be. And I really hope that through digital tools, through more resources, it can pick up speed and get to where it should be in terms of the educational need.
Yeah. And also about teaching young people how to be curious. I think it's another thing that sadly, because they are so overloaded with topics like maths or physics or biology, English, not that those topics aren't important, but somewhere in the midst of that, we are missing a very important aspect they're learning about life, which is how to be curious without judgment. And if they develop that, if we promote that and help them, support them in developing curiosity from young age, whether we are parents, brothers, sisters, neighbors, whoever we are, but being curious and learning about the world. And what it does is that you start asking questions about yourself. And you, in terms of pain, for example, you could come to conclusion, well, every time I do this, I experience pain. There is a pattern. Every time I experience anxiety, this follows. So what can I do to stop that pattern, to interrupt this pattern or this circle, right? So
exactly. It's a skill of reflection as well. And
yes,
I think that's one element, exactly what you're saying. It's not necessarily about the content of what we teach people, but it's teaching them how to learn. Because then they can pick and they will pick up things that maybe are not part of the curriculum, but they have access to it online, and they can pick their resources because they know how to find them, and they know what to do with them, and how to get the information that is relevant for them.
It's funny how when you graduate from school, you realize that maths is actually not that important in life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless you're a mathematician or a statistician, or you work in research, you realize, actually, how you manage your mental health and stress and conflict is more important in life than all these things I've learned at school. Funny enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next question. Nicola, you someone who has been awarded an amazing award by Innovate UK. What has winning this award meant to you personally, and what it gave you and your business?
Yes, I think that specific award was a great achievement, not only for the company. So of course, kind of it helped the company to further one of our projects, and it really gave us resources without which we couldn't have progressed as we did. But at the same time, it was a great validation for me as a female founder as well. And I think the community they gave us, so we were several award winners in that year, and every year it's several people who win this award, and the experience, the amount of experience and knowledge and understanding in that group of female entrepreneurs, all of who are trying kind of to make a positive impact in different sectors. This was on the one hand very inspiring for sure, and also very helpful, because you talk to people, you learn about their views, they bring in their experience, and you get kind of a support network in a group of people that is really doesn't have any kind of competitive approach. Exactly. It's they're really, everybody's there to support you, and that I valued a lot from winning this grant for sure.
And how many women across England won the UK Women in Innovation Award?
I think in my year it was 40, but they changed that in different years. So I think before it was 20. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, no problem. Fantastic. Okay. You're someone, like you mentioned earlier, who has developed 3 products from the first step, from ideation to market entry. And along this journey, you obviously gained a deep understanding of user research and how to create successful products that are well received by the audience, by the users. No doubt your experience, especially in chronic pain management, has taught you to put people first at the center of the user experience. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned from your users, from your customers, about happier health, about the app and the idea behind the business?
Yeah. I think one element, and I mean that applies, I guess, to anyone who works very deeply with their users to develop products, is that a lot of people also don't know what they want and what could help them. So if you just ask them, okay, what do you need to get better? They come up with features or products or whatever that they've heard of maybe, or they've seen somewhere, but so I think that the element is really not asking people of what they want, but really asking them or understanding what their challenges are and trying to help them overcome them together. And so it's really this element of understanding, okay, what is troubling you? What is a challenge in your day-to-day life? What is a challenge in your chronic pain management? And really seeing this as a network of elements, social, emotional, physical. So all those elements together, instead of looking at it in isolation, like we would do if we look at physical pain, just a pain, then okay, a pill might help. But equally to kind of pain, a chronic pain that needs attention from different angles, so does any product idea, any business idea. And I think the users are core drivers. But what the core element is really understanding what their challenge is.
Of course. And I bet you at times you felt like you're teaching them self-reflection and self-awareness. Because again, people are so usually time poor and so unaware of why they have certain daily struggles, that they don't look within and they don't ask questions and they don't wonder. But this is a user research before launching a new product is a perfect opportunity to give a user a bit of a lesson on themselves and what approach they should be taking in life, right?
For sure.
It's very
because from, if you look at approaches from psychology, they are often preventative. So there is no immediate outcome. If we look at, I don't know, meditation, okay, sit down for one meditation and you might feel a bit better afterwards, but sometimes you also feel not better. So the effect is a long-term effect. So that's a big challenge, I think, in mental health in general. If you have to build that habit with the hope and the belief that the positive impact will come, but it's not always right there. And that's why people go to pills first, because what
Yes.
they expect is a quick solution.
Yeah.
And it sometimes works, but unfortunately also for chronic pain, it doesn't always work. You still take a pill and you still experience pain. So this is something I guess we have to learn both in Happier, but also in all other aspects that deal with mental health, with preventative health solutions, with well-being. You have to put in a lot of effort and a lot of work to see the outcome.
Yeah. And be patient. I think that's
Exactly.
one
Yeah.
part of the problem.
Enjoy the journey and not only the goal.
Yes. Are you familiar with Dr. Gabor Mate?
I've heard of him, yeah, but I
There is
don't
a
have many insights.
No problem. There's a fantastic book he's written called When Body Says No. And the book is about a collection of stories about real people with different names, obviously, for the book, on the physical symptoms they were experiencing in their bodies and how they manifested sometimes, how early childhood experiences manifested later on in life, as some of that as chronic pain. And he talks about strategies very often from positive psychology on how to overcome that. It's a great book, really inspired me to some of my work as well.
I'll have a look at it. Thanks for the suggestion.
No problem. Nicola, it's been so refreshing and so nice talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining. I encourage each one of you who experiences pain on a regular basis to look at Nicola's profile. Click on the link on her LinkedIn profile, which is included in the show notes of this episode in the comment section, and download her app and check how it can help you on your journey to better well-being. Thank you so much, and I look forward to
Thank you, Ella. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.